Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you know when I drop these videos. Also, very important, the comments. The comments everyone's been sharing with me in the past, almost a couple of months now, have been awesome, man. They've informed me about where your mindset is at, and they've really helped me understand what kind of content to put out here for you guys and what to look for. And also, thumbs ups. Really love the thumbs ups. This is our Knicks-Verse, so the dialogue is absolutely instrumental. And I still have some hats left, so order them. They're running out, so order them. And I don't know when I'm going to get another batch at this time. So, all right, let's begin. The New York Knicks went down to Philadelphia after a back-to-back. Last night they played the Cleveland Cavaliers in Madison Square Garden. They went down to Philly and won 103-96. And man, was it painful. It was a painful win. That's the only word I can use to describe this. I was a little more heated when it first ended, and I'm glad I kind of waited a few moments before I jumped into doing this. Because as Keese, who pointed out, who I did the pregame with from Sports Vibes TV, and if you haven't checked out his channel, definitely check it out. Excellent channel. We were talking, and same with JD, and I was like, this is not a good win. That was my attitude. But they corrected me, and they were like, look, George, a win is a win. At the end of the day, a win is a win. Because if we had lost this game, despite whatever the situation was, because this was a totally depleted Sixers team. No Tobias, no Embiid, no Ben Simmons. Who else were they missing? I can't remember who else they were missing, but they were missing another key player, blanking right now. But the thing is, they still have NBA players on that squad. So we have to bring it. We lost to the Magic. That was just a loss that should never have happened, and it happened in Madison Square Garden. So any team, and when you look around the NBA, good teams are losing to, quote, bad teams all over the place. It's happening inside. Everywhere you look, every night there's a weird result. Look what happened with the Lakers. They dropped 2 games with huge leads to the Thunder. Those are the only 2 victories the Thunder has this season. So when you look at it in that context, okay, I'll take this win. I'll take it. The Knicks are now 7-4. I believe we are currently in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. So we're not in the play-in. We are actually a playoff team. Do you hear me, all those naysayers of the Knicks who say this is not even a play-in team, much less a playoff team? Well, this is a playoff team. This is absolutely a playoff team. Whether they're going to be a home court playoff team, we shall see. We shall see. I'm going to go directly to the singular highlight of this game. Well, not highlight, but what I'm going to highlight. That Julius Randle, 31 points, 12 rebounds, 5 3-point made field goals, and 3 assists. He carried us in that third quarter. We were trash in the third quarter. We began the third quarter with a 14-point lead. It was 58-44. Wow, I can't even believe that was the lead. And we proceeded to kind of just crap it all away. We scored 11 points in the fourth quarter. No, 14 points in the fourth quarter. 14 points in the fourth quarter. Wow. And we scored 31 points in the third quarter. I'm sorry. In the third quarter, we scored 14 points. And the Sixers scored 25 points. That's an 11-point swing. So we only had a 3-point lead going into the fourth quarter. And even then in the fourth quarter, it got close. I think they cut it to 1 point the lead. But we never actually gave up the lead after the first quarter when the Sixers had the lead. We never actually gave it up. And because of Julius. Julius scored 10 points in the third quarter, and he followed that up with 10 points in the fourth quarter. And he scored those 10 points in the fourth quarter in just 5 minutes and 33 seconds. He had 10 points, 3 rebounds. He was 4 of 5 from the field in the fourth quarter. And he hit 2 of his 3 3-pointers that were big 3-pointers. He carried us. It felt a lot like last season, where he just needed to take over the game. Kemba just wasn't having it, and Rose just wasn't doing it either, so he had to take over, and he did. Let's look at, here we go. Here's the box score. You can see Rose had 6 points, and Kemba had 8. So combined from the number 1 position, we had 14 points. 14 points, but combined, that's just not going to do it. RJ, at least, he had that atrocious 6-point game the night before, and he bounced back. He had 15 points, but it took him 20. He had to put up 20 field goals to do it. 6 of 20, nothing outstanding there. 2 of 8 from behind the arc. But he did have 10 rebounds and 4 assists, and he had a very key sequence in, I believe it was the third quarter, where or it may have been the early fourth quarter, I'm not exactly sure. He found Burks in the corner, beautiful dime, and Burks hit that bucket, which is good because he didn't really do too much. He gave us 5 points. That was his 1 3-pointer was from an RJ assist, and then RJ, he hit a 3-pointer from above the break, from right at the break, the right break, and that basically is what gave us the cushion to ride this to victory. Well, I'm kind of like, I'm making it sound like it was easy. It was not. It was not at all. Man, that third quarter, so Julius scored 10 points and nobody else scored in that third quarter other than RJ and Fournier, and they just scored 1 bucket each. So they each provided 2 points. So the rest of the team scored 4 points and Randle scored 10. Yeah, that's what happened. Let's go to some highlights. So here we are in the first quarter. And also Nerlens, he got hurt. I think he was gone. He didn't come back in the fourth quarter at all. So we were a bit depleted. We didn't have Mitch to start this game. So we were a little depleted, but the Sixers were totally depleted. I mean, you got to hand it to them. They really came through with some scrappy play, and you knew it was going to happen. I just knew they were going to happen. I mean, George Niang, he's scrappy. Maxey can light it up. Seth Curry is one of the best shooters in the NBA. Along with his, he's not quite his brother, but he's a fantastic shooter. Korkmaz, that guy, I know we feared that he was going to go off and have a career quarter, like we've been granting other players. He had 19 points. He's 7 of 16, 5 of 12 from behind the arc. Oh, man. Andre Drummond. He had 14 points, 25 rebounds. 25 rebounds. That's crazy. That's some crazy stats. But I got to talk about Mr. Emmanuel Quickley, who once again gave us a really nice effort. 16 minutes he played. He hit 3 of 4 of his buckets. He took only 3-pointers. He hit 3 out of 4 3-pointers. It felt like vintage IQ to me. And his defense was pretty nice. He has some nice defense. So he contributed 10 points, 3 assists. Let's see. He did commit 2 turnovers, which is uncharacteristic for Quickley. But he was a +9. Quickley was a +9. Obi Toppin was a +10. Derrick Rose was a +10, despite the fact that he only gave us 6 points. And Fournier and Nerlens led the team with a +12. What a weird game this is. It's such a weird game. It's hard to pull any real positives from this game that you can then extrapolate into forecasting how they're gonna, like, what does this mean? Does this mean the Knicks are XYZ type of team? No, this is not that kind of game. all we can say is they figured out how to get the W, which at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. You know, whether it's pretty, I'd love it to be pretty. But even if it's not pretty, I'd rather have an ugly win than a pretty loss. That's just, who wouldn't, right? Look at that guy, Korkmaz. Do want to say I'm going to go in on Thibs a little here. Because in that third quarter, when the game was kind of basically, there was no offense, there was nothing happening, and the Sixers were, you know, they were connecting. I was like, Thibs, why don't you look down your bench, man? You got Grimes sitting right there. He gave you an excellent quarter last night. We almost came back, and you're not gonna look at him and give him some burn tonight when we're short-handed at the 5 position? I did not understand that. I did not understand that, and that is just something that I've decided from this moment on, I'm going to beat that drum until it happens. Thibs, you've got to play the rooks. I don't care. I don't care about your whatever. You've got to play them. You are absolutely 100% wrong on this. Just like last season. Just like last season when we ran out of gas against Atlanta. If you had brought along some of the other players and given them some burn, they might have developed into something like Obi. I mean, Obi came on late. But, so that's my rant about that right now. Grimes is a player. He is a player. Okay, if you don't want to play both Grimes and Deuce, fine. But play one of them. We need it because Burks, hate to say it, but he sucked tonight. He did. He was terrible on the defense. He was trying to force it on offense. He did finally have a couple of moments where he did okay, but look at the plus minus. Look at the plus minus. Let's go back to this. If it switches over. All right. Here, we're going to go here. Look at the plus minus, Thibs. Burks, 5 points, -5. Yeah. So what's your reasoning for having him on the court? I don't get it. We can't do this anymore. This game should not have been this close. If you had brought in Grimes instead of Burks, or in for Burks when Burks wasn't showing us anything, who knows? Maybe that energy, that enthusiasm, also might have woken Burks up a little bit, you know? I mean, thankful for Fournier. Fournier gave us a really nice game, plus 12, 11 points. He shot 5 of 8 from the field. He only hit 1 of 4 of his 3-pointers, but, you know, he got 6 rebounds. He got 2 assists. He even got a nice steal. So he was a positive player. You're a big plus minus guy. You're a big, and so I have faith that you're going to fix this. You're going to fix this. We can't gamble with Burks like this anymore. I understand you like his, you know, he can create for himself, and often, while if he can't actually find a great shot for himself, he'll find the open guy on the floor. Well, that's Burks from last season. That hasn't been Burks from this season. I don't know what's going on with him, but he ain't got it yet. And you know what? We're in this. The East is tough. Your words, Thibs. The East is tough. So we can't mess around with this. That game last night against Cleveland, that was unacceptable. And tonight almost happened. We almost lost to a team with nobody on the court. So, can't have this, man. Can't have this. You have tools in the toolbox. Use them. You know? I mean, just use them. And it's going to pay off later in the long run. If you use them now, it's going to pay off later. I'm sure you have a plan, but I think you have to pivot right now because Burks isn't doing it. And I love that you stuck with IQ. because look what he did. He's finally starting to show. I mean, last night he had a really nice game, and then he followed up with another really nice game. But we know what IQ is. He's a lightning bug. We know that once he snaps off one, he's gonna boom, boom, boom. And Burks, we've seen him do it, but that was last season. He hasn't done it this season. Oh, man. Let's go to second half highlights. So here we are. We started off 14-point lead. It was nice, but then that happens. Kemba lets Maxey beat him into the paint. The perimeter defense. Another reason to bring in Grimes. So, and there's our boy Julius, man. He really carried us tonight. I really got to tip my cap off to him. Even though there were some times where he was forcing it a little bit. I think that was mostly in the second quarter. But let me just rattle off some stats here. In the first quarter, RJ started off nicely. He had 7 points. He got 3 rebounds. He even had 1 really nice block. 3 of 5 field goals. So we got off to a nice start in the first quarter. Randle gave us 9 points, 4 rebounds, but 0 assists in the first quarter. And he ended up with just 3 assists. So that's low for him. So you can see he wasn't sharing the ball. But there were times where he did find some people and they just didn't hit the shots. So there was also that. Fournier was 3 of 4 in the first quarter, 6 points, 4 rebounds for him. And so that was a really nice start. We were up 28-21. I was feeling good. I was thinking, you know what? This might end up being a blowout. And then in the second quarter, they followed that up with, they won that one 30-23. And 9 Knicks scored in the second quarter. 9 Knicks. So it was really nicely balanced. And that's when IQ came in and he hit both of his 3-point attempts. And the team overall in the third quarter hit 5 of 12 of their 3-pointers. 41.7%. Fantastic. Fantastic. In the fourth quarter, 8 Knicks scored. So nice balanced scoring. What else was I going to talk about here? Okay. This is something I wanted us to touch base on here. Oh yeah, you can look at that. So right now, we're 11 games in. The Knicks are 7-4. I think we're the 6th seed, 5th seed around there. But that's almost meaningless. But at least it's nice that we're in the playoffs firmly. Currently, I want you guys to pay attention to this. The Knicks are averaging 111.7 points per game, which is good for 3rd in the entire NBA. 3rd. Our field goal percentage is 45.4% for 14th in the NBA. That's the field goal percentage. But our 3-point percentage, for all the naysayers who say we have to abandon the 3-point shot when it's not falling, and I'm going to use tonight's game as a great example of why that is incorrect from a game strategy standpoint. And maybe I should actually just spin out and just do a whole other video about this, because I really need to explain this concept to you guys, and I need to explain it properly so that you guys understand the way I look at it. And if you understand the way I look at it, you may still disagree with it, but at least you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I'm going to give you some of the basics right now. We are 5th in the entire NBA, 36.5%. So without the 3-point shooting, we're nowhere. We're nowhere, because our defensive rating, our defensive rating is 109.7 for 25th in the NBA. So there's only 5 teams worse than us defensively right now. But yet, we are in the playoffs. And it's not because of our 2-point shooting. It's because of our 3-point shooting. That's just the math. Our rebounding has been decent. We are 9th. We are averaging 46.3 rebounds per game. But our assists are not. We're averaging 22.5 rebounds for 22nd in the NBA. Our offensive rating, I talked about the defensive rating, which is 109.7 for 25th in the NBA. Our offensive rating is 111.6 for 4th in the NBA. Yeah, 4th in the NBA. Another thing I want to point out is that our net rating is 2.4. right now. We're a plus 2.4, which is 11th best in the NBA. And that is about where we are with our record, actually, when you really break it down. In fact, let me look at this up right here. The entire league, the Knicks are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are 11th. So there you go. The net rating tells the whole story. So keep an eye on the net rating, guys, for this team. That tells you where we're going to end up being. Right now, we're firmly in 11th place, so we're just below the top third of the entire NBA. And it's our three-point shooting that's got us up there because it's not our defense. Now, tonight, let's look at some of the really positive things that happened tonight from an offensive standpoint. Look at the fast break points. 23-5. We won the fast break battle by 18, and we have been losing that. We have been getting beat in the transition game all season long. I mean, we've had a couple of games where we did well, but in general, we've been losing that battle. But look at it there. And look at the rebounding, 55-47, despite Drummond basically grabbing every single rebound possible. We still out-rebounded them. Our free throws, we hit 81.3%. But look at the three-point shooting. We put up 40 three-pointers. So did they. We both hit 13 of them for 32.5%. If we had shot less of them, we would have lost this game. It's just the math. We had a 19-point lead at one point. And I was never super comfortable, even with that lead. And there you go. Now you see why. Points in the paint, 44-42, so it was pretty close. We committed more fouls. That's another bugaboo of this team. Too many fouls. We commit too many fouls. So it sends the other guy to the line. And also, you know, it hurts us defensively because our guys, when they pick up extra fouls that are unnecessary, they can't quite commit defensively in crunch time the way we'd like them to. So there's that. All righty. Well, thank you for watching this. This is a good win despite the ugliness, because a win is a win. I mean, it just is. Doesn't matter that there was no Embiid or Tobias or Ben Simmons. Doesn't matter. The win is the win. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for watching this. Again, please, the thumbs ups, subscribe, order your hats. Just check in the description. You can just email me at Knicks-Verse at gmail.com, and we'll work it all out. And I will see you guys in the Knicks-Verse.